Hey everyone, Eric Meehan here. It is another message in the bottle video series. So I thought today I'd sort of peel away some of the layers and show you how the sausage gets made in the retail sense. So I just got done with a tasting. This is in this case, a Bordeaux tasting. These lovely folks from Pine State Distributors came here with a Bordeaux rep, and they had many bottles, and I'll sort of give you an idea here. And I taste through them, and we say we'd like this many cases of this many cases of this. This wine is corked, which I did have to unfortunately say today, but just so you can kind of see. So these guys are great. Not all companies do this, but providing a really nice sheets of this, and you can see I scroll my little notes in here, and I taste through all these, smell them, look at the color, all the stuff that I teach, by the way, in my Wine 101 class, in case anybody wants to take that. I do offer those. And it's really neat. As I said, you scroll your notes, you say, well, this is impressive, this is something that's worth the money, not worth the money, an extraordinarily good value for the money, which is always nice to find these days. But I just thought that might be interesting for folks to know that, we as wine retailers, it's not just random guessing, it's not just having visited an estate. I mean, let's be honest, most of us are confined to our stores and stuff like that. So it's not like we're always going on wine trips. We need the wines to come to us, essentially. And so that's why tastings are so important. Yes, it's nice to go on wine trips, but just so you all know, we have representatives from distributors. By the way, I guess really quick, I kind of talk about the 3-tier system, which is what we deal with here in Maine. So in Maine, you have, well, not in Maine, in theory, somewhere in the world you have someone making a wine or an alcoholic product. But in this case, we'll talk about wine. So say you're in Bordeaux, okay? You're in Bordeaux. You're the first tier. You've made the wine. Now it needs to get to you. How? Okay, so an importer is going to hook up with them and sell that wine, bring it over here, make it commercially available to distributors in the varying states. Now, in some states, you can be both an importer and a distributor. In Maine, you cannot. So the importer, in this case, Teuton, came to Pine State and said, we have all these wines that are available. Here's your pricing. Let's go out into the market, meaning me or restaurants. We are the 3rd tier, Pine State being the 2nd tier. And sometimes there's layers of fat in between those tiers, just FYI. That's why, things cost money. And so it'll go from producer to importer to distributor, and then to me, or to, for instance, Butcher and Baker next door, or Utopia or Novio's or something like that, and subsequently to you. In either what we call an off-premise, which is you're buying something. I'm an off-premise retailer. You buy something here, you go off my premises to consume it, or an on-premise like a restaurant or a bar. So that's kind of how the sausage gets made. People come in having, basically it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of levels of judgment, if you will. A lot of barriers to get through before the wine ever gets to you, which is kind of cool because a lot of people with a lot of knowledge of wine have already been filtering this stuff down. So by the time it gets to me even, I'm just tasting some really fantastic wines, and sadly one that was corked, and so I assume it was fantastic, but I have no idea, and I probably won't be ordering that one. But it's okay, I have lots of other options, which by the way means that coming in November, we're gonna have some really good Bordeaux at really good prices. Yes, even with inflation, really good prices. There was one in particular that we just all kind of looked at each other. We're like, this is really the price? Which means you're gonna look at me and say, this is really the price? Yeah, it will be really the price. And I'll make enough money to keep my lights on, and you're gonna go home a very happy wine customer. So, there you go. A little bit more on how the wine business works. By the way, something I didn't mention at the top of this, I should have, biodynamically, it is currently a fruit day, but it is getting to a leaf day by the time we're probably all gonna be consuming whatever we're consuming this evening with dinners, etc. So unless you're enjoying a glass of wine right now, and by the way, I did enjoy, because it was a fruit day, it was very nice to taste these wines. I did spit them all because, frankly, I need to make it through the rest of the day. But just, so do a fruit forward, something like that, or a nice, a beer or something like that tonight, and enjoy. And believe me, better wine days are on the way. But in the meantime, we're glad we have the rain. We're glad we have all this because we need it. Cool. See you all next time on Message in the Bottle. Bye.